Hello everyone, this is teacher Joanna again, and for tonight we're going to have another lesson, and tonight we're going to focus on prepositions, okay? For tonight's lesson, the focus will just be like on, in, and by plus vehicles. Okay, so first, let's focus on one sentence. I want you to complete the sentence by choosing the correct phrase later on, okay? So for the sentence, it is Jermaine usually goes to work blank. Okay, so letter A, on a car, letter B, in a car, or letter C, by a car. Okay, I'm not going to really answer the question yet because later on, after we talk about it, after we do the discussion, you're going to be the ones to answer that question. For sure, you can do that. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, let's talk about first the difference between on and in for vehicles. Now, for vehicles, when we use on, we actually need to have a big vehicle after that. Okay, so big vehicles. Now, what do I mean? I know that this is actually like subjective, but when you say that the vehicle is big, it means that you can stand and you can walk inside the vehicle. So that is a vehicle, a big vehicle. For example, right? On a bus, right? You can stand and walk on a bus, okay? And then in, of course, for small vehicles. Okay, so in that case, of course, we say that it's small if we cannot stand nor walk inside the vehicle, right? Okay, so that's the thing. For example, in a taxi, right? Okay, so that's one example. Of course, you cannot really like walk and stand inside the taxi. Okay, so let's have example sentences. For example, um, Jermaine usually goes to work. Okay, similar to our sentence a while ago, goes to work on a bus. Okay, and then, or Jermaine usually goes to work in a taxi. Okay, so that's the thing. Now, as you can see there, we have like different choices. We have on and in. Okay, the first thing that we have to know is that let's check car. Is it a big or a small vehicle? Of course, it is small because we cannot stand inside it. The same thing with the taxi. So can we use on for that vehicle? Of course not. And because on is used for big vehicles, right? What about in? Yes, it can be. So we're going to focus on that later and let's study now the use of by, right? Let's differentiate, okay, on and in plus by. Now you have to focus because this is actually about the pattern. So this is very technical. Okay, whenever we use on and in, there should be a determiner after the preposition on and in plus the vehicle. Okay? Plus the vehicle. Now, what do I mean? Last time, in my last video, actually, we talked about determiners, right? And of course, for determiners, let's have a recap. We have articles, okay, and the, right? Or a, and the. And then we have also like quantifiers. Okay, we talk about that, right? Quantifiers, we have two kinds. Definite, which are actually like the real numbers, like cardinal, like 1, 2, 3, and others. Ordinal, okay, like first, second, and third, okay? Right, and of course, we have the indefinite. They are not real numbers, but they talk about numbers, for example, like several, much, many, and others. There are many more quantifiers. And of course, number three, we have demonstrative, right? Okay, of course, like what I've said yesterday, we have like that, this, those, and these, okay? And then, of course, we have the possessive, okay? We have the possessive noun, okay? Of course, we have like common, possessive common noun, and possessive proper noun. Example for common noun, students, right? And then for proper noun, of course, possessive proper noun, it's, for example, Germains, right? And of course, possessive pronouns, right? So for possessive pronouns, of course, we have like her and then his and others. Okay, and like what I've said, we have to use on or in plus determiner plus the vehicle. Let's have an example. Okay, for example, like in a car, right? And for determiner, okay, in one, oh, for quantifier, in one car, right? And for this one, for demonstrative, okay, we can actually like use like in that car, right? Or for possessive, you can say like for this one, okay, in my student's car, right? And for Jermaine's, okay, in Jermaine's car, right? So you can say that one. And of course, you can also say like in his car, right? So there should be a determiner before your vehicle. Now, for by, you have to remember this. Whenever you use by, there is technically or automatically no determiner. Don't forget that. You cannot say by a car, ink, that's impossible. And remember that the vehicle should be in singular form, no S, okay? So, for example, like by car, right? Let's have a comparison. If I say train, is it on or in? Of course, it's on a train, right? And in, for example, like taxi again, right? So, of course, train is a big vehicle. There's a determiner, there is a determiner, here. But when it comes to like by, we can just say like by train and by taxi. So no determiner is actually like used. Now let's go back to my question a while ago. Let's see which one is the answer. Okay, as you can see here, we have the preposition in, and what is a? That's the determiner article. And we have the vehicle here. So is it possible to actually like use that? Yeah. What about letter C? Okay, let's check. By, right? After by, remember that there should be singular form of vehicle, no determiner. And a is actually a determiner. So is it okay? Ink. So the only answer is letter B. So the sentence would be Jermaine usually goes to work in a car. If you want to use by, you can just say like Jermaine usually goes to work by car. That is also grammatically correct, provided that the determiner is not used. Okay, don't forget that. Now, let's make it more difficult this time. Right? What is the difference between the two? Jermaine rides on a plane and Jermaine rides a plane. In the first sentence, we have a preposition on, and of course, we use on because the plane is big, right? But in the second sentence, we don't use any preposition, but it is also grammatically correct. What is the difference? Whenever you use like ride on, it means that you are just a passenger. So Jermaine is just a passenger here. He's just seated on the plane. He's not really like controlling the plane. But when you say rides a plane, this one is a totally different thing. Rides a plane means he controls the plane. He is actually the pilot. Okay? So that's it. There are a lot of different uses of prepositions, and we're going to study more about it in my next videos. Okay? But for now, I will leave you one question and I want you to think about it. Okay? And try to comment your answers for this one. Tell me which ones are the answer. Okay, for example, Jermaine rides blank a taxi. Okay, you're gonna choose between in or on. Okay, and you're gonna tell me on the comment box what your answers are. Okay, and then for this one, Jermaine rides a taxi. Without the preposition, I want you to tell me the difference between the two. Okay, so that's it for now. This video is just very short because actually like I have a class in 6 minutes, okay? I hope you have a great time and I hope that you will continue learning and studying English grammar the fun and easy way. So see you again in my next videos. Bye bye everyone. Have a good night.